Welcome back to our last week of Earth System, Processes that Shape the Earth, which is our fourth unit for fourth graders. Throughout this unit, you've looked at different types of weathering and erosion. You've done a great handful of explorations and even created a presentation on each one of those explorations. This week, we're going to be summing up the unit with a couple different things. First of all, we're going to be looking at some of the human impacts on the environment, and you know some of them, but we're going to look a little deeper. And then lastly, you're going to be editing your paper and all of your work for submission. So the first thing I want you to do today is create a Google document titled Human Impacts. Make sure this is in your to be graded folder. Then you're going to watch the video that you see to the right here, which is called 5 Human Impacts on the Environment. Next, on your document, as you're watching and after you're watching, answer the following questions. And make sure you're using complete sentences for these, and please number them so I know which one you're relating to it. The first question is, what are the 4 biggest roles of a healthy ecosystem? And that'll be very apparent in the video. Make sure you explain your thoughts. What is the concept of biodiversity? What are the 5 largest impacts that we have on ecosystems, which again is going to come straight out of the video here. And I want you to explain in your own words each one and why you think they're important. And what do you think a solution for each one of the 5 largest impacts that you have is? And this doesn't have to necessarily be something that you can do, but what people can do to help. So not necessarily a single person, but many people. You can either set it up question by question, or if you wanted to just write about each of those 5 different impacts, a sentence or 2, and answer the last questions together, you're more than welcome to do that. Again, make sure this is in your to be graded folder. Lastly, for your week 6 literacy connection, you're going to open your document titled Erosion. And to this point, you should have your paper pretty much completed if you're following along with us. There were a couple different weeks where you had to write body paragraphs. There was an introduction paragraph, and last week there was a conclusion paragraph. So at this point, really, you should have your full paper written. If it's not, you really need to catch yourself up. After you open your document this week, you're going to read through your whole paper silently, checking for convention errors, which are considered spelling and grammar. Then I want you to read through the paper out loud to a family member to listen for sentence and paragraph structure errors. Big thing about this, and a reminder, I say this every unit, but when you read it out loud, your brain can't skip over any mistakes there may be. So that's why I ask you to read it out loud. If you read it to yourself, your brain will skip over them because it knows what it should sound like. As your family member listens, make sure to ask them first to also listen for if the paper makes sense and it flows well, and that the actual structure of the paper flows together so it's not choppy. Then make sure that your paper is submitted to the to be graded folder to be graded. Lastly, here's a list of resources that are available to you, and this is in the slideshow. Also the unit checklist for everything that has to be turned in, and then some different unit rubrics to show you what you will be graded upon within your work.